the Dog Witch podcast, where we help you create happy, healthy and relaxed dogs. Hello there and welcome to the latest edition of the Dog Witch podcast with me, Lisa McCabe, your host. So today I am flying solo. Normally when I do some Dog Witch podcasts I will have an expert guest in, but I thought that it was maybe time that I started showing you my expertise and why you should choose me for your dog if you have concerns over their health and well-being, or if you just want to share your life with a happy, rounded, completely well dog. Why you should choose me. I suppose I have been working with dogs in a professional capacity since 2009. I started off dog walking and then just added to my arsenal as time went on. I got really into the nitty-gritty of dog psychology and dog behaviour. I love just knowing how their minds and their bodies work. Although I am not a behaviourist, I'm not a dog behaviourist. If you come to me with a specific behavioural problem that I cannot give you any help and advice on, any recommendations, I will recommend you to someone else, someone that I work very closely with. And have done for many years. I've also used this person for my own dog as well. So yeah, but I love figuring out how the holistic things work with dogs, and this started when I went down a rabbit hole with one of my own dogs, Zane, many years ago. When we adopted Zane, he was really kind of scarred by the world. He was only 9 months old, and yeah, the world hadn't been very kind to him and he needed lots and lots of help, just kind of getting him to a place where he could realise that the world wasn't all bad and that all humans weren't all bad. And I wanted to be able to offer that not only to Zane, but also to customers' dogs, clients' dogs that I was working with. And I just learned as much as I could. I added lots of skills and qualifications onto my already existing lot. And the thing is that I didn't start doing this. I went to university straight from school, and I studied social sciences. So I suppose like the social aspect and how things work and how the environment and things like that affect us was always kind of in my blood. But I went to university and did my degree in social sciences, and after that I did my postgraduate diploma in housing studies, and I kind of fell into the property world and I worked there for about 8 years. And although I loved making a difference to the lives of the people that I served, the job didn't really fill me with much joy. I didn't find it challenging enough, and there wasn't enough things that I could change just on my own. There was loads of red tape and I needed to rely on other people. And dogs had always been a passion of mine. I'd always shared my life with a dog right since I was a little baby. My dad bought me a dog when I was born because that's what every newborn baby needs, right? They need a dog. And she was my BFF growing up. And then we got Leo dog. When I was about 16, we added him to our family. And when my husband and I got married, we added Ziggy to our family, and Ziggy became my first baby. He was my firstborn baby, and then we added Zane, and then we had 2 human children, and now we have Zach living with us as well. So I've done loads with dogs, but I always wanted to kind of move into actually working with them, and yeah, in 2009, after a traumatic personal event, I decided that I was just going to follow my dreams. Life was too short, and I wanted to work with dogs, because who doesn't want to work with dogs, right? If you're a dog lover, it's the total dream, isn't it? And I'll tell you, I quickly realised that working with dogs was much harder than I thought. My goodness, it is a physically demanding job, but it is so worth it. It's so rewarding. Dogs just give you so much than working with a human ever would. And yeah, when I came home and said to my husband, I would really like to start up my own business, I want to, work with dogs, and he was like, cool, totally behind you, you know, I know you'll make a success of it, let's do it. The rest of the family weren't as supportive, let's put it that way. They were more like, you're doing what? I was the first person in my family to go to university. My mum and dad had me very young, so they didn't go to uni. They just worked to provide for me and my siblings. And yeah, they were just like, you spent all that time at uni, all that money, and now you want to go and play with dogs. And they have seen me kind of grow from strength to strength. They've seen my business grow and evolve, and yeah, I hope they're proud of it. I know that my husband certainly is, and I know that my 2 human children certainly are. And Ziggy and Zane, when they were here, were very grateful for everything that I learned and was able to implement in their life, and Zach is now reaping the rewards of that because he literally lives the life of Riley. He is definitely the boss in our house. So I spent a long time studying dogs, studying their behaviour, with the permission of the lovely dogs that I walked in my gang, or their owners. I was able to practice Reiki and massage, and I'm a qualified herbalist and nutritionist, and I also work with essential oils as well. Yeah, I got all my qualifications in that, so I can make lots of little alternative health potions and lotions for dogs, and that's not as woo-woo as it sounds. You know, you can help your dog reduce pain and inflammation in their body by looking at their nutrition and by using essential oils. You don't necessarily always have to turn to medication, and that's what I absolutely love about the holistic side of everything. If you look at your dog as a whole being, rather than, I mean, if you take your dog to the vet will look at your symptoms and they will give you something to treat those symptoms, but there could be something else behind that, like the lack of sleep or the lack of proper exercise is what could be causing your dog's muscles to seize up and become painful, but your vet doesn't necessarily know that, because they're trained in such a way that they look at the signs. They don't kind of tend to look at the holistic side of it. Most vets anyway. I mean, a lot of other vets do, but most just kind of follow the signs. And that's not me bashing vets in any way, shape or form, because vets are amazing at what they do, and that's where people sometimes get a wee bit confused about what I do, because they think, oh, she's woo-woo and airy-fairy and she doesn't want me to take my dog to the vet, and that's just nonsense. If you come to me with a sick dog, the first port of call that I will tell you to do is go to your vet. Go to your vet and find out what's going on. That's why they exist. They are qualified to diagnose. I am not. I am a holistic therapist, so I am not qualified to tell you what's happening with your dog, and I certainly never ever would. But if you come back and say to me, right, this is what's happening with my dog, this is the medication that we're working on, then I am qualified to deal with it, therefore, and say, I think a bit of massage would be good in here, this essential oils. But what I have noticed over the years of working with dogs in general is that there are 6 key pillars to your dog's health and well-being, and I have created the SEEN framework. Now it's spelled SEEHN with a B in brackets, purely because I couldn't figure out any other word to make it work. But these letters signify each of the key pillars in your dog's health and well-being, and they are sleep, exercise, environment, health and well-being, nutrition and behaviour. And each of those is equally as important as the other. And if you're looking at your dog from a holistic framework, if, say for example, your dog's nutrition's rubbish, then their sleep might be rubbish, their exercise might be affected, and they might start to get, like little aches and pains and twinges. They might start to get bloating. They might start to suffer the effects of arthritis. There could be a multitude of things that start going on. So if one of those areas is out of alignment, then, everything else can start to kind of follow on. And that's where I come in, because I get you to fill out a form which tells me absolutely everything about your dog, from where they sleep in your home. Now, sometimes people might not realise, your dog's bed might be beside the television, it might be under a lamp, it might be beside the window, it might be beside the radiator. All these things matter, and they matter individually to every individual dog as well. So for example, my dog Zach is a Cocker Spaniel. He loves the heat. He loves to lie upside down under the radiator. But I had a dog who didn't like the heat and who would go and lie on the cold kitchen floor because he liked to just be cool and calm and collected and just lie in there. He also quite liked to just have his own space as well. So all of these things have to be thought out methodically, but they also have to be thought out as bespoke and individual for each dog as well. You know, like things like plugins and candles and reed diffusers, all of these things in your dog's environment could be having an effect on their health and well-being, and it's not something that we as dog owners would necessarily think of. You know, things like, you know, is your dog's bed in the kitchen? Is the washing machine close by? You know, is the noise from that affecting them? Are you just taking them on the same walk every single day? So are they being stimulated enough? Like, what happens when you go out of the house and you leave your dog on your own and you think, oh, the dog's eating the couch, it's eating the windowsills, you know, they're chewing the carpet when I'm not here. What is causing that? And it's not that your dog's bad. Your dog isn't bad at all. Your dog's just trying to communicate with you. When your dog is doing these sorts of things, when it's stressed, when it's barking and lunging, that it's communicating to you. It's telling you that they have a need that isn't being met. And once you understand what that need is, then we can put something in place to get to the bottom of it. So that is where I help you make sense of what's going on. When I talked about earlier when we adopted Zane Boy and he was completely batshit, he wasn't batshit. He was just trying to tell me, Mum, I have got some needs that you're not meeting here and you need to figure out how to meet them for me. And once I figured out what Zane's needs were, he had the best life. He was the best boy. He really was. You know, he was scared of other dogs, so he would initially lunge and bark first. So I had to learn to keep Zane at a safe distance where he felt comfortable from the other dogs. He could see them from afar. He wouldn't bark at them. In fact, he wouldn't even bother with them. He would just sniff. And it got to a point where Zane was able to be off lead and just roam about. As long as I managed that, as long as I was able to make sure, you know, that no dogs came close enough to him to cause any worry or upset. And it was, you know, like Ziggy, my older dog, I always called him Mary Poppins dog, practically perfect in every way. But Ziggy had, you know, his little quirks as well. You know, Ziggy didn't like things to be too hot. He didn't like loads and loads of covers in his bed, because he would always do this little dance where he would go round and he would just flick everything out, and we would always be like, oh, here he goes, get that to, you know. So we knew what he liked and what he didn't like, and as he got older I was able to buy him a lovely comfy orthopedic bed that was literally just the pillow, and he was quite happy with that. And yeah, he liked cuddles, but on his own terms. And there's been loads of dogs that I've worked with throughout the years, loads of different quirks and things that would be happening. You know, things to consider, like some clients didn't realise that maybe a retractable lead wasn't the safest or best thing for their dog to have. A halty, you know, going across their face was restricting their movement and maybe causing a bit of fear. Sometimes, you know, nutrition as well, you know, looking at what your dog's eating. And we get that it's convenience, right? I mean, you know, having kibble and feeding your dog that twice a day, every day, you know, is convenient. But if you think about it from a human perspective, if we were getting the same food every day, twice a day for our whole lives, we'd be like, oh, not this again. But also as well, your body starts to kind of get used to that, and then yeah, it's not actually doing the job that it's made to do. So you know, it's when we talk about like essential oils as well, it's like too much of a good thing. So essential oils aren't something that you would necessarily use with your dog every single day. You would maybe use them 2 or 3 times a week and let them build up within the bloodstream slowly, and then add from there. And it's kind of like the same with nutrition as well. You know, if your dog's got a bit of a cold, give them some honey. If they've got some pain and inflammation, then we would look at things like sweet potatoes, because that helps to reduce the inflammation. Just there's all gut issues, we would look at kefir, homemade kefir, or we'd look at some Greek yogurt. There's loads of different things that you can look at and think outside the box with, but you don't necessarily know that, and that's why someone like me exists. That's why the Dog Witch was born, because I could see from working with all these different dogs throughout the years that I could see that there was just that little bit missing, that little bit in between what the owners were doing at home for the dogs and what the vets were able to do medically for the dogs. There was just that little bit missing, someone there to say, oh, well, if you tweak your nutrition, maybe if you take that plug in out, maybe if you do this exercise instead of that exercise, or maybe if you give your dog this to stimulate them when you're not home, then it'll help you to create a happy, healthy, rounded dog. So yeah, that's kind of why I exist. That's what I kind of work you through with the Happy Dog Reset. I absolutely love doing Happy Dog Resets. I love just that one-to-one work with the owners and their dogs, but also as well just being able to help get that transformation. If you haven't, get onto the transformations part of the Dog Witch website and have a wee look at some of the transformations on there, because they are amazing. Have a look at some of the client feedback, because not every dog needs a full Happy Dog Reset. Some dogs just need one little thing tweaked here and there, and that's absolutely fine. So have a look at the client feedback as well and just see what they're saying. But yeah, being able to make that difference to the dogs and their lives is absolutely fabulous. And also as well, just being able to teach owners how to do massage at home as well, because obviously your dog loves you the most. Your hands are the safest. So yeah, you could bring your dog to me and I could absolutely massage it, but it's going to take maybe 3 or 4 sessions before your dog is fully comfortable with me and to let me massage them properly, and for me to actually do the goodness of the job. So if you're booking, say, like a 5-block session, it's 2 or 3 of those are kind of wasted on me getting to know your dog and your dog getting to know me. And whilst we will absolutely do some goodness during those sessions, it's much better if I teach you to do it yourself. And once you master it, you can literally do it. I always say Emmerdale is my guilty pleasure. So Zach will jump up on my knee when I'm watching that, and I will literally just give his body a little massage. It doesn't need to be, an hour 2 or 3 times a week. It's literally just a few minutes when you have it to be able to do it. And honestly, that makes such a difference to your dog's life as you go along, especially as they start to age as well and they just pick up wee aches and pains and stuff. You can get right to the bottom of that before it even becomes anything. And also what I absolutely love to do is teach you how to feed your dog. So I love creating dog friendly recipes. Zach loves it too. He is pretty good at telling me when things are rank. If he doesn't enjoy it, he's pretty quick at letting me know. But I just love being able to give owners those options of, here's all these things, here's all these amazing foods, and here is what they do for your dog, and then creating them into great recipes. I will highlight just individual ingredients on their own. I do that on the Dog Witch the Dog Witch blog. So if you pop onto the website, you'll see the Dog Witch kitchen and you'll see the blog there too. And yeah, I give you recipes and I give you amazing days out for you and your dog to go. It's already tried and tested. Again, Zach and I have been out doing all of those, because sometimes as owners we kind of go, oh, where are we going to go today? And we maybe, we'll always just tend to go to the same places. So that's why I do that. It just kind of gets you out and about the house, gets you trying different places with your dog, and also it gives them new experiences as well, because, the harsh reality of it is that dogs aren't here for as long as we are, so we want to give them the best life possible in the time that we have with them. And I love just the idea of creating community as well. So that's why the Dog Witch Magic Circle membership exists as well, just so that you've got me in your pocket, but you've got other like-minded dog owners in your pocket as well, a group of friends, and we do go on like dog walks and we go on doggy days out and stuff like that together as well. And it's just fabulous. And I also create like holistic remedies that you can do at home, whether it's pain reduction, whether it's how to clean your washing machine naturally and ethically so that you're not using any chemicals that might harm your dog. All of that goes into the Dog Witch Magic Circle membership. So that's a kind of whistle-stop tour of what I do here at the Dog Witch and why me. I hope I've explained that properly and you get it. You understand the 6 key pillars of your dog's health and well-being, why it's important to balance your dog holistically. And if you need a hand with anything, just please reach out. I am here all the time. You'll get me on all the social channels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you're on LinkedIn, you just look for my name, it's Lisa McCabe, and you'll find me there. The Dog Witch is there as well, but I'm more active on my personal profile, just so that you can get to know me a little bit better. And the website is thedogwitch.co.uk. But as I say, if you have any questions, I will pop all those links in the show notes and just reach out. And you can also jump onto the Dog Witch website and do the little quiz that will give you an idea of if any of your dog's pillars are unaligned or misaligned, and if you need a hand popping those back into alignment, then just give me a wee shout. But take care, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye! Thank you for listening to the latest edition of the Dog Witch podcast. Don't forget to tune in to our next episode soon.